Right. So, Kerbal Space Program, build spaceships. Send them to the moon. Send them somewhere. And we'll just start a new one, and we'll say it's default. We'll just do a sandbox. That way we have access to all the pieces and parts of the ships that are available. Yeah, we'll overwrite that. I don't know what was on there. I think it's from last year when I was playing. Game has changed quite a bit since last year. One of the biggest changes is they added a lot of atmospheric components. So taking off from the ground is actually quite a big challenge. You have to deal with resistance, wind resistance, and forces drag on the ship. So we'll go into the vehicle assembly building here. And yeah, the tutorial can go away. Let's just build a simple rocket and just see if we can get up into space this first time before we try and build something that will go to the moon. So we'll start out with this pod. It's a simple pod. Single person can occupy this, and that will get us into space safely. Let's put a parachute on it so that we can actually return from space. Okay, so yeah, another thing they added was, where is it? Wind aerodynamics. They added re-entry effects. So if you are nose diving into the atmosphere, your ship can burn up. So we have these heat shields, and I got to pick the right sized one. That's not it. And there it is, right there. It fits right on the bottom of this thing. So if we kind of look around to the bottom, this is our heat shield called. What is it? Heat shield, it's not ablator, if that's the terminology. So we'll use that. Now we need to have a connector. Nope, that one's too big. Where's some more connectors? There's a connector. We'll put that connector on there. And that's going to be our top stage of the entire rocket. Some of the things we're going to throw on there real quick, though, is we'll throw a battery on there and a couple other little bits so that we have some extra power. There's a nice set of AA's that we can just tack onto the side of this thing. We'll just come over here and we'll stick it on the back side so we have a little bit extra power. Let me angle snap that so it kind of fits on there nicely. And another thing we'll snap on here, let's see, we can grab a quick little solar panel, and we'll just stuff this on the, we'll stuff a couple of these on the sides so that if we get up in space and we start running out of power, we can get some sun rays and recharge our battery. So one of the things I did was I did a symmetry mode ×2. When I placed one on this side, I placed one on the exact same opposite side. So this right here, sufficient, absolutely sufficient to get us into space and survive for a little while. Okay, so getting into space is, you've got to have the burn that gets you off the ground. Once you get that going, when you're up in the upper atmosphere and trying to complete an orbit, you've got to have a secondary burn to push you into the velocity you need to be able to make it all the way around the planet. So we're going to build this in 2 stages. So this, right at this point, we're building the top stage of the rocket. So we need some fuel tanks and some engines. Let's go to the fuel tanks. Basic fuel tank that I like to use when I'm upper stage, high atmosphere, trying to build my orbit. Simple fuel tank. And then same thing on that, I usually have some type of very simple little engine on that. So this guy right here, we could launch off the launch pad with this thing, but we will never make it to space. We'll never get in orbit with this rocket. It's just not enough to make it. So we are going to add another stage, and to do that we've got to add that decoupler. Where is my decoupler at? Right there. Let's add this guy on here, and that is going to give us the ability to build a whole nother section of this rocket that will allow us to get off the ground. So let's start putting some fuel tanks on this thing. Alright, so I'm going to have to check something. It's frozen out there. When did it freeze? It froze a long time ago. Been sitting here talking to myself. All right then. All right. Welcome back. Very good. Alright, it looks like we're back. Sorry about that, guys. I guess I'm going to go back over what I was doing because it looks like you guys were frozen out there. Anybody watching online, I appreciate it, but we're going to start over a little bit and build this thing from scratch for you guys. So what we want to do is we want to build a rocket that is going to get us up into outer space, possibly into orbit. The first thing we're going to need is this command pod, and this guy will seat one passenger. The next thing we're going to need on this is we're going to need a parachute. This is going to help us get back. Another thing that helps us get back is we need a heat shield. Where are my heat shields at? This guy right here, put that on the bottom. If we didn't have it as we were entering the atmosphere, we would just burn up. No fun at all. So next thing, let's go ahead and put our top stage rocket. Where is my decoupler? We need a decoupler on that guy, and we'll build our top stage launch vehicle, our orbit vehicle here. Let's see, there we go. Pretty good rocket right here. This thing would take off with the launch pad, but it would not get us up to space. We'd run out of fuel, probably about 20,000 meters up or something like that. So let's put some batteries on this thing. A couple little double A's. Let me get the symmetry mode fixed here. There we go. Nope, that's not right. We just want one on there. And then we'll get some solar panels. That way we can generate some power while we're up in outer space. And we'll turn symmetry mode on again. And that's going to put one on this side and another one on that side. Alright, we need another decoupler so we can start building our main stage, our launch vehicle that's going to get us up into outer space. At this point, I'm just going to kind of blow it out a little bit because the atmospheric conditions stuff really is a big difference in this game from last year, and I haven't played it so much, and I know that we're going to need a lot of power to get up into the upper atmosphere. So we're going to put this kind of a adapter on, which will change our size of our rocket from this small size to a larger size rocket. And then we got to find a fuel tank. Let's see, let's just go and build a stack based on some old school Kerbal Space Program techniques, and put this tank on the bottom here, and we'll grab the whole thing and we'll lift it up a little bit off the ground so we got some more working room down here at the bottom. The reason why you want to put these tanks together like this is this orange tank does not bleed heat off very well at all, and if you try and just attach an engine straight to this tank, your engine is going to end up overheating. It doesn't want to exhaust the heat off the rocket very well. So that's why we kind of cheat and we stuff these little tanks on top and bottom like this. Introduces some challenges because the physical connections to these are not very strong. So we got to go in, we got to put some struts on it to try and tighten this thing up. Actually, and that usually ends up being a problem too. So we grab, let's see, can we grab that? Yes, these little guys like this, and we'll stuff one here. Again, that's in symmetry mode, and then we'll stuff another one right there, and then we'll build on just a little strut structure on this thing. So on both sides, it gets this extra connectivity there so that it won't flop around or do anything crazy for us. We'll stuff another one here, stuff another one down here, and then we'll pull this across. Right, now we got to stuff an engine on this thing. Let's go find the main sail. Put that guy on there. That's a pretty good sized engine. Now this rocket might have enough to get us up there, but this wouldn't be Kerbal Space Program if we didn't put some boosters on this thing. So we need some solid rocket boosters. Let's go find our clamps for the side. Where are they going to be? Under structural. Okay, we can use this hydraulic detachment. Let's use the radial decouplers. And we'll come over here to the side and we'll put a couple of these radial decouplers on here, maybe right around in here. Again, we're still in symmetry mode, which puts it on both sides. Alright, then we'll go over here and we'll find a booster, a solid rocket booster. These things are fun. When you light a solid rocket booster, there's not really a thrust control to it at all. It just lights up and it burns until it's dead. And then we throw it off and we continue on. So nice simple looking spaceship at the moment. Nothing special. Let's put a little bit more aerodynamics on it. So where's a nose cone for us? Where is my nose cones? There's a nose cone for it. Let's put a couple of those on there. And then we're going to use a couple more struts to tighten this thing up so it doesn't wobble around on us and cause us problems while we're lifting off. There. And we'll see if we can sneak another strut in underneath here. And we'll drag it over to this tank. One other thing I might want to do is I might want to put some fins on this. We'll see if we can go without them. You know what, we'll just go ahead and put some on. Let's see, what do we got? We got little fins. Let's put a couple on here. Put it in symmetry mode 4. That's going to help us stabilize as we're going up. Right. That is another thing we got to talk about. All right, so we have command and control, and I didn't put any of this stuff on there. What this stuff does for us is it helps us. It's got reaction wheels and things like that, so stabilizers. If we don't have those things, it's a little difficult to control. So I might sneak one in right up here. So let's grab that, drag it down. Don't worry, this isn't gone. It's just off to the side for section. Let's get a little. Oh, that's too small. Let's put this that guy right in there, and then put that there. Okay, so this pretty much is our rocket we're going to go with. We need our launching clamps. We'll grab a couple of those, put them there, put a couple more out here on these boosters. Good. And now we've got to organize everything. Over here on this side of the screen, we've got all of the different stages and things that happen. So we want to drag our launching clamps down to the very bottom. We want those things to get detached. We want the boosters to go off at the very bottom. This is to release. If you can see it as I hover over these, they highlight. That'll release those boosters once they've run out of fuel. I think that's our mainsail at the bottom. Let's go ahead and drag that down so that it fires at the very beginning as well. And then the next thing after the boosters come off is our little staging clamp here. That'll detach this upper stage rocket. Then that engine will fire, and then finally, when we're actually coming back down from orbit, this will separate us from the rest of the vehicle, and then the capsule can use the parachute to launch, to land in the ocean or wherever. Let's call this rocket number 1. We'll save this thing and launch. So a little bit of fussing around, trying to get something set up to build it to get a rocket going, but it's fun, you know, the little bit of crafting kind of stuff. Let's see, we've got everything set up. Hopefully we're not going to just fall right over. We're going to turn on our computer, which will help us a little bit as we're launching. It'll help stabilize us, and we want to maximize our thrusts, and think we are all set. Probably forgetting something, but whatever. Let's get off the ground. Wow, a bit loud, isn't it? Alright, so there's our altitude up here, showing how fast we're climbing. our surface speed is showing us how far fast we're moving up off the ground. You can see the wind effects, resistance, and it's coming mostly from these boosters. They're kind of burning off. I'm going to cut the throttle back on the mainsail so that wow, we are really going fast. Wasn't expecting that, but we're on the way. Alright, so boosters have completed. I'm going to hit the button and they're gone. We need to kind of start rolling over here. Let's throttle up. Alright, rolling over a little bit because we went straight up and we should have rolled a little bit. Still getting atmospheric effects. We're almost out of it. There we go. We got our orbital speed. We need to get up above about 2,000 meters per second. We're making progress here, though. We may make it. A little bit of wobble going on. Alright. When that mainsail gets done, I'm going to cut it off and detach. And then make sure we fire that, and then I'm going to cut the engine on it. We need to go look and see how we did on our orbital map. Oh wow, we got way out there. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of float around out to that point, and we'll add a maneuver out there. Just to know how long it is to that node. And we'll come up and we'll take a look and we'll see what we see. So that was our launch site right there. And we're sailing off into space. Probably the second rocket we build, we will just go ahead and start working on trying to get out to the moon. This is the moon way up here. And it doesn't look that far, but it actually is quite far. Alright, so this is going to take us a little bit of time. So what we're going to do is, one of the nice features of Kerbal Space Program is you can speed up time to get out, past some of this distance. Because it's saying right here, wow, it's going to take an hour and 11 minutes to get out to that node that I created on the orbital map. So we'll just use a little bit of time acceleration to move forward. And as we do that, you can kind of see the planet dropping away from us. Again, that's where we launched from. Yeah, we're going to get out there pretty far, actually. Let's speed up time even further. Now that node right there, that's some of the debris from my rocket as we were launching. Alright. Speed up time even further. Alright, so we got out there pretty good. One of the things I didn't check on is our battery, so let's... Did we run out of power? No. How do we open our things? Used to be able to just right-click on them. Really? Did they change that? Huh. Well, for some reason I can't open those. Interesting. Well, thankfully we have enough power with that battery that we have on there. Alright, we have gone way past where we're supposed to be. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, we are on our way back. So we'll clear that node. Looks like we are going to land in the nighttime, so let me see if I can push us a little bit further to see if we can get out around the planet. So just a little bit of a burn. We'll watch this right here to see if it'll Nope, that's the wrong direction. So we want to... If you don't ever know how to burn, just add a maneuver node and then come in here and start goofing around with the directions and stuff to see if you can get what you're looking for. There we go. That's something we want to do. And then that'll give you a node down here that you can kind of maneuver to. So this is your gimbal ball, and we'll just hit our thrust right there, and we'll change the shape of our orbit that we have at the moment. And you can see the blue line moving over there. And we look at the rocket. It's just firing its engine. Wobbling around a little bit, but that's okay. Alright, that gets us there. Let's see if we can get this to come up just a little bit higher. There we go. And we'll close this node off. And we'll cruise over to this, warp to this location. So we're a little bit in the dark still. Coming around the backside of this planet. Sun coming up. And we want to get probably around... Oh, we want to get around to about here, and then we'll burn to get a landing position. Okay, we'll just come right there. We probably have enough fuel. Let's take a look. Yeah, we got plenty of fuel. Plenty of fuel. So we'll come right here, and we'll just retrograde until we get a nice splash down into the ocean here. Right around in there looks good to me. And all right. Usually you can, there you go, add maneuver node, warp to next maneuver node. Alright. Oh, we are in the atmosphere for some reason. I didn't even realize that. 45,000, wow. Well, that was unexpected. Hopefully aren't going to burn up too bad. We're going back up. Yeah, it's just a little bit of atmosphere. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. You guys didn't see that. None of that happened. Alright, let's turn around. Did my battery die? Is that what happened? Yeah, I think our battery died. Nope, there we go. Yeah, we are almost out of battery charge. That was a bad situation right there. Huh. Okay, we should be okay now. Alright. How long do we have to burn? We've got 37 seconds. Alright, we'll just kind of trick through that a little bit. Get that down to a couple seconds, and then we'll just go ahead and fire it up. There we go. We are out of orbit now, but we're angled down a little bit so that we try and push ourselves down into that water just beyond the coast here. Take a look at the orbital map here. We can see our blue line coming down. We definitely want to try and shoot for this area over here. If we get too shallow, we could end up landing in this land here. So when this line starts coming around this side, I'm going to wait for it to get around in here somewhere. And maybe a little bit closer. And right there sounds good to me. So you don't have to be perfect on your maneuver nodes unless you're trying to go like to the moon or to another planet. When you're just goofing around on your own Kerbal planet here, you can just do what's going on there. Oh, and that's something I guess I should have done for you guys also. My camera is covering up my Kerbal here, so let me move that also. Let's see. Whoops, that's the wrong thing to move. Let's see. Web camera. There we go. There's my Kerbal. Jebediah. He's loving it, by the way. Alright, so we are at 119 or 194,000 meters. Let's time speed forward a little bit and see if we can get down a little bit lower. We should be going down. It looks like we're going up still. Why are we going up? Why are we going up? Oh, okay. There's my apopsis. We need to go past that before we start going down. Very good. Not a problem. Alright. Let's go faster a little bit. Yeah, we're definitely going to make it past that coast right there. Alright, now we're going down. Starting to come down. Let's see if we can get this down below 100, and then we'll start worrying about what's going to happen next. There we go. Starting to get a little bit of frame drop. Alright. We need to probably turn ourselves around and go ahead and get rid of this tank and engine. We don't want those things when we are burning through the atmosphere. So I'm going to go ahead and ditch them. And we'll turn SAS off. Whoa! I guess we'll turn it back on. We want to point retrograde so that when we start hitting the atmosphere, it'll hit the heat shield. Alright, lots of stuff happening in here. If you're out in the hall watching, we're just right around the corner here inside the LAN gaming room. Come on in, take a look, see what's going on. Alright, there we go. Starting to heat up. Now, if we had come in at too steep of an angle, we probably would have overheated and possibly destroyed our heat shield. But as we're coming in like this, I think we're in pretty good shape. We can look at how well our ablator is doing. It's only taking 0.13 damage, 0.14. It's got this value of 200 is total, damage that it can take. And we're only down to 196. Okay, so it's really climbing now, and we're starting to shake a little bit. But of course, Jebediah, he's like, no problem. And now we're coming out of it, and we're doing pretty good here. 7,000 meters, 400 meters per second, and we're just kind of floating down now at this point. That right there is the remains of our ship. It's probably about to hit the ocean. It's got about 2,000 miles to go before, or 2,000 meters before it goes into the water. We're going to wait till we get down a little bit further before we deploy our parachute. Otherwise, we're going to just be floating a whole bunch. So we'll just kind of give it a second. Hey, how's it going, man? All right, we're down to 1,000, and we'll go ahead and push that out. So it's in kind of a shoot. Wow, come on, slow me down. Of course it didn't slow me down. Of course it didn't. Oh, poor Jebediah. So that wasn't supposed to happen. But, I think that's appropriate for almost every game that I've shown so far tonight, that something happens and I do something wrong and then the character I'm playing dies. So, yay. You got to see that. Alright. Vessel is destroyed. Fantastic. Let's see, we hit the ground where our most G's were 9 G's. Where was our error? What happened? Something happened, splashed down hard. Jebediah Kerbal was killed. Happens. Oh well.